if I could sum it up with this one, I have a story that I read one time, and it was great. It's an oil story, and there was an oil well called Spindletop, and you can Google the story, it's kind of cool. But Spindletop, in the early 1900s, there was a rancher in Texas, and he was about to lose his ranch, lose his farm. You know, you've heard the whole story, about to lose the farm. And he couldn't feed his family, he couldn't do anything, just wasn't making any money, so he decided to just try to sell off parcels of land, and it wasn't a good time to be selling it. An oil company approached him and they said, we believe there's oil on your property, and we think you've got everything to gain and nothing to lose, because if we strike oil, we know you're about to lose it. If we strike oil, then we're going to pay you a royalty on every barrel that we hit. So the guy takes the deal and he says, absolutely. Now, in the early 1900s, when they struck oil, they had a derrick, but the derricks were made out of wood. And the rule was, when the gusher came through, the bigger the gusher, the bigger the explosion of the derrick. It would literally explode. And so Spindletop, when they were drilling and they were drilling and they were drilling, Spindletop was such, in history today, it hasn't topped it. It was such a big gusher when it came through, it obliterated the derrick. And before they could even cap the well, 100,000 barrels of oil had already covered the ground. The guy went on, and immediately, within days, he became an instant multi-millionaire. And that's in the early 1900s, a lot of money, but he became an instant millionaire. Or did he? Because you have to ask the question, wasn't he always a millionaire? The day he acquired the property, he was a what? He was a millionaire. All during the period of time, he was a millionaire. But what was the difference? Somebody from the outside came in and did what? They drilled, they researched, they invested. You follow what's happening? And they brought to the surface the resource. Well, that's what we do as leaders. You have to look at your people, and you have to look at it, and you go, you know what? These aren't people. We said this. These are bundles of what? Behaviors. Can I draw to the surface? Because that's what your whole job is. Really comes down to is this, is coaching, mentoring, bringing to the surface, bringing a person to their best light. And that's the analogy that you should be looking at any given time. So you have to think of it this way. Am I looking at Spindletop at this very moment? All I have to do is drill a little deeper, spend a little bit more time, and I can change somebody's life. And that's what we're here to do.